From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams.
Good evening. When most Americans turned in for the night last night, if they'd heard of it at all they had heard about Hurricane Wilma was that it was a Category 2 storm perhaps, and still very far away. And America woke up this morning to that familiar and foreboding term, Category 5. Wilma passed over some very warm water overnight and is now raging tonight. And over its brief lifetime, it's predicted to do quite a bit of damage. The storm is currently southeast of Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. Presently, Wilma is a Category 5. That's the highest there is, and it already is in the record books. The pressure at the core set a new record overnight, the most intense Atlantic hurricane ever recorded. It will weaken before making a predicted landfall in Florida at some point over the weekend. But we begin here tonight with yet another Atlantic monster. And for more, we are joined by meteorologist Bill Cairns of our digital cable weather channel, NBC Weather Plus. And Bill, here we go again.
Oh, good evening, Brian. It's unbelievable. Another Category 5 storm just as strong as Rita and Katrina. The storm rapidly intensified last night, and you can watch this black line. That's kind of where the center of the eye has been following, more or less a northwesterly motion, and it looks like it's heading, unfortunately, towards the Mexican peninsula here, the Yucatan, all the way up towards Cancun over the next couple of days. The forecast has been changing, and it keeps changing. Each of these squiggly lines earlier today took the storm just off the Yucatan towards Florida. We've had some changes. Two of our computer models are now stalling it out over the Yucatan and then drifting it towards Cuba. So the uncertainty of the forecast definitely heading for Florida this weekend is not as sure as it was earlier today. The Hurricane Center is very sure that it looks like the storm is going to remain a 4 or a 5, and there could be catastrophic damage for areas like Cancun, anywhere on the coast of Mexico. After this is where we have the question marks. One scenario has it going up the East Coast, possibly close to the Outer Banks of North Carolina and New England. Right now, it looks like the Hurricane Center is thinking this is going to go through South Florida and then out into the open Atlantic. This forecast, count on it, it will change as we go throughout the next 24 to 48 hours. We'll give you the latest when we get it in.
And we'll keep checking back with you, Bill. Thanks for that. Bill Cairns at the weather map for us tonight. And now to this latest chapter in this strange and violent storm season. And while it does seem hard to believe, preparations are indeed underway again tonight for a major storm. Here is NBC's Tom Costello.
From Sarasota to Miami and the Keys, Florida is stocking up, gassing up.
I'm pretty scared. I think it's going to come through here, and I don't want to be without gas.
And battening down.
It's better to be safe than sorry.
A race to prepare for a monster named Wilma.
This thing exploded overnight. The bottom dropped out of it.
Never before has a storm intensified so quickly, feeding off extraordinarily warm 85-degree ocean water and the absence of strong winds above that could slow it down, already lashing parts of the Caribbean.
I've been in a hurricane before, and I don't want to be in another one.
The question now, will it turn toward Florida?
This is one of the more perplexing storms we've had to deal with this year, but the good news here, this does seem to buy us a little more time.
Already, evacuations have started in the Florida Keys, and outside Miami today, they were draining the canals to prepare for a storm surge that could be 30 feet high. While on Capitol Hill, Governor Jeb Bush said Florida has pre-positioned supplies and is prepared for all kinds of contingencies.
We have pet shelters now because we heard from our citizens that they weren't leaving unless there was a place to take their beloved pet as well.
Back in Sarasota,
we'll be pulling out tomorrow or the next day if they say so.
A storm experts say is as unpredictable as it is dangerous. Tom Costello, NBC News, Washington.